And same thing with the mouse pointer. You can change it or you can leave it the same. Now, underneath level setup, we have sky. This refers to the skybox. What a skybox basically is when you look outside your level, you'll see, just like if you look outside on a normal day, you'll see the sky. A skybox is just the exact same thing, but inside a game. So when you look outside, it goes from the top all the way down to the horizon. Now you can change this by clicking on the elliptical button, and what FPS Creator has given you is a bunch of different skies already. So if you didn't like the default, you could fool around and you could figure out which skybox is the best. Underneath sky, we have some fog attributes. We have fog active, the red, green, and blue values of the fog. So for fog active, by default, inside our game the fog is off. If we want to turn it on, we have to change this 0 to a 1, and if we want to turn it off, change the 1 to a 0. And basically what the fog does is in the game, say if you're in an alleyway and the fog is turned off, you'll be able to see all the way down to the end of the alley. But if the fog is turned on, you won't be able to see the end of the alley because of the fog, of course. You can change the color of the fog by changing the red, green, and blue attributes of it. So let's pretend I wanted a nice gray fog, say 50% gray. I could put in 128 red, 128 green, and 128 blue, which will give me a nice gray looking fog. If you want it, say an alien fog or something, purple, you could load up Microsoft Paint and you could get the red, green, and blue values that way if you want it. Underneath fog, we have ambience level. We have the level, then we have the red, green, and blue values the same as the fog. Now what the ambience level does is basically you can put in a light range from 0 to 100, 0 being no light, 100 being full light. So think of the ambience level as being whether it's sunny out or if it's nighttime. So right now we have 25%, which means that, say if the sun is up in the sky and it's shining down at 100%, it's covered up 25% right now, so there's not a lot of light inside our level. If you wanted to make a really dark level, of course you'll change this to 0%, and then you will have to rely on the lights that you put into your level. And then same as the fog, you can change the color values from red, green, and blue. By default they use pure white, so if you wanted to use just a blue light throughout your entire levels, you could change red and green to 0 and leave blue at 125. So moving down, we have screen overlays. We have our fade out image, our eye damage image, and default zoom image. What these screen overlays are, I'll take on the example of the eye damage image, is whenever an enemy hits you or you jump down from a really tall building, you'll notice that there's a red circle that appears on your screen for a split second and then fades away. These are called screen overlays. So basically if you wanted to change that red circle to a lightning bolt, all you'd have to do is change this eye damage image. So anytime that you got shot or you fell down from a building, you could see a lightning bolt instead of the red blood circle. We also have our fade out image, which is basically just a black image. You know, whenever you complete a level or complete so many objectives, it fades out into the next level. This is your fade out image, and underneath we have default zoom. So if you give a gun a zoom, say if you give your knife a zoom property, this would be the default image that it would zoom into. So it may be black and then you have a crosshair or something in the middle. Continuing on, we have status panels. We have our lives, we have our health, then we have our ammunition. What this is when you load up the game, you'll notice in the top left we have the word lives, and then we have the amount of lives, Then finally we have our health, the word, and then we have the amount of health that we have. And then over on the right we should have ammunition. Then we'll have the number of clips that we have, and bullets, sorry. Now what you can do is you can make your own and you can add them into the game. The same goes just like the title screen. You're able to import an image here and then change the X and Y coordinates just like you could with the buttons on the title screen. So there's really nothing different here. So moving on to menu items. What this refers to is when you're in the game and you hit escape, these are the menu items that come up here. You're going to have a header image, which is normally going to be something like game paused or something. You're also going to have your load game button, your save game button, a save game bar, so basically when you click on save, the bar that comes across, a exit game button, and continue game button. These are exactly the same as your ammunition, health, lives, and also in the title screen, those buttons. You can change the image and then adjust their X and Y coordinates to get them in the right spot. Now I'm going to move down to moving on to game over script. You'll see that we have a general section and menu items section as well. We have our background, which we can change, the music, and then we also have the header image, which is basically something like the words game over, and then finally we have the new item, which is timeout. Coming back up to the general, you can change the background and music just like all the other scripts. The same go for the header image. Now the timeout, this is the amount of time that this page will show to the user before it either goes to the next screen or exits the game. But this time is in milliseconds. So what this means is for every 1000 milliseconds, that is 1 second. So the default is this page is going to show for 6 seconds. So you can change this to say 15 seconds, or if you want it just to show the user quickly for 1 second, you can change it to 1000 milliseconds. I'm going to hit cancel to get out of this screen and go over to our game complete screen, which is the exact same thing as we just covered in our game over screen. So I'm going to cancel out, and you'll notice that in our list of levels, which is underneath the game screens, we have one level which by default is just testgame.fpm. So what I'm going to do is just left click on this map here to open up basically an open file dialog. Now I'm going to go into our chapter 3 and choose our doors _ automatic. I'm going to add a new level, which adds a new level at the bottom, and I'm going to click on the map name again, go into chapter 3 and click on doors _ use. Now let's pretend I want a level in between these. So in between the automatic doors and the used doors, let's pretend I want it our key door that we made. So basically we open doors up with keys. All I have to do is select the second level and then click on insert new level. This will insert a level above the current selected level. Now then again, all I have to do is left click on my level to change it and select which one I want. So I'm going to add the rest of the levels here. Just by doing the exact same thing as we've been doing before. There we go. We have all 6 levels in.